Hey there everyone, what's up? Welcome to Arsenal Fan TV. This is the preview for the big game this Saturday at Wembley, which is becoming a bit of a familiar place now for Arsenal in the semi-finals of the FA Cup against Reading. A game that I'm thoroughly looking forward to, certainly not a game that is going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Reading, of course, a good championship side, very solid. They were in the Premier League a couple of years ago. And as we saw in last year's semi-final against Wigan, playing at championship opposition is never easy, and they are going to make it very difficult for us. The magic of the cup, that kind of thing. You never know what to expect in these kind of games. Every team, they've got very strong ambitions for it. They all turn it up in a very prestigious and historic tournament in Britain. Certainly a trophy that I've treasured dearly, and I'd love to think that we can go on and make it to the final and go on to win it again this season. We've got an excellent opportunity to do that, but first of all, we've got to get past Reading. And I think really the turmoil that I think's been sparking around at the moment is people looking back towards the semi-final last season against Wigan Athletic, which I think obviously is something that we've got to take into account. They didn't make it an easy game for us, and in large patches of that game we were outplayed by Wigan. Of course, Mertesacker had given away the penalty, which was converted by Jordi Gomez. They defended very resiliently, and we didn't get a goal till 8 minutes from time through Per Mertesacker, who redeemed himself in that game. It was a scrappy semi-final. It certainly wasn't one of the best, the most historic semi-finals that you're ever going to see in the FA Cup, but it really was a significant one, and I'd like to think that this game against Reading isn't going to be as similar to that game. I think that considering the run of form we're on, considering we're starting to kind of figure out what our strongest 11 is now, with players like Ramsey, Cazorla, Ozil and Giroud all in fantastic form, all bonding really well. We've got an excellent spine of the team now. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue in this game. I don't think Reading will cause as much of a problem. We are the superior team in this. We go into this game as favourites. I don't think that should put any more pressure on us whatsoever. We know what we're capable of. It's a bit similar to the Monaco game, I suppose, in a way, because I mean, we are clear favourites, but I don't want us to be complacent in this game. I'd like to think that that game against Monaco certainly would have been a learning curve for us for games of this stature, and I'd like to think if we are going to take anything away from that defeat against Monaco, it would be that we can't underestimate a team like Reading in any way, shape or form. But just relating back to that Wigan game of last season, I think we've got to take into account that that kind of came at a time when we were losing 6-0 to Chelsea. You know, when we were going through periods where we were losing 5-1 to Liverpool. It was in a scrappy part of the season. We didn't have a fully fit squad. Aaron Ramsey was just coming back from an injury, and it was never going to be an easy game for us, whatever happened. But we came through that game. It was a big victory for us. We made it to the final. We went on to win the trophy. We've got almost a fully fit squad now, with the only absentees for this game being Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Mikel Arteta, who, you know, I don't think losing those players, I mean, we've coped without them, and would they even break into our starting 11 at the moment, considering I think we've started to delve into what is our strongest 11 on paper in the games against Burnley and against Liverpool. Personally, I wouldn't change anything from those games. The only thing that I see changing in this game, which I think is guaranteed certainty, is Wojciech Szczesny coming in for David Ospina, which I can understand, considering Szczesny played at Old Trafford, had a fairly decent performance there. But of course, no room for error, and he's a player that I think we could possibly pinpoint as someone that is a little bit complacent, so he's got no room for error in this game. Big game for him as well. I mean, he didn't really get the chance to play at Wembley last season, so he's got to take this opportunity when it comes to it, and you can assume if we get past this game, he'll be the person to start in goal in the final of the Cup. So it's a big game for him and a big game for the whole squad in general. Of course, looking at Reading, not in the best of form at the moment. They've suffered quite a few draws recently in the Championship, and most notably they did lose at home at the Madejski Stadium to Bournemouth in midweek, so they're not going into this game on the best form or the best confidence. But I don't think we can really take that into account in this game, because anything can happen. They've got players that can cause us problems. Simon Cox, their top goal scorer, Pavel Pobremniak is certainly a player that could cause us a lot of problems. Players with Premier League experience, they know the game inside out, and of course it's not going to be an easy game for us. They've got Jamie Mackie as well. Good talent going forward, but I certainly think their defence is an area of the pitch that we really should be exposing. They certainly haven't got the best defensive record in the world, and they're a fairly mid-table Championship side that I would expect us to be beating in this game. But like I've said numerous times now, we can't underestimate them. It's not going to be easy, but I am expecting Arsenal to come through this one with a victory that should hopefully be more comfortable than the victory that we got at Wembley last year in the semi-final against Wigan Athletic. So looking at the Arsenal team that I would like to see start this game: Szczesny in goal, Bella in a right back, Mertesacker, Koscielny, Nacho Monreal, Francis Coquelin, Aaron Ramsey, Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, Santi Cazorla and Olivier Giroud. So an unchanged team practically from the game that's played, from the team that's played in the last couple of games, which has just worked absolutely perfectly for us. The defensive stability with Francis Coquelin playing in front of the back line Big game for Coquelin as well. Whilst I'm on the subject of him, of course, winning the FA Cup would really crown his season. He's been absolutely immense, a revelation for us since coming into the team, and it makes you wonder where we would be if he'd have been playing from the start of the season. But of course, a massive achievement for him. Great for him to be playing at Wembley after everything he's been through, and it's a good game for the whole squad in general. I'm thoroughly looking forward to this game. But I mean, those have basically been my thoughts on a game that should be very, very enticing. Of course, it's nice to have the whole squad practically fully fit, apart from the players I've already mentioned that are out of the game, Chamberlain and Arteta. But I mean, we've got Debuchy back. He's a player that could potentially make a start in this game, but considering Bellerin's playing so well, I wouldn't want to see him dropped. And then, of course, we've got Jack Wilshere coming back into the frame of things, and possibly Abou Diaby coming back into the team, which could be interesting, but I personally don't think we've got to rush these players into the squad by any means. I think we've got to be fairly ruthless at this point in the season. I don't think we're in a position where we can really be giving players like Wilshere, Diaby, Debuchy, etc. runs in the team. I mean, Debuchy is the one player that you think might come back into the side at some point, give Bellerin a rest considering he's so young. But personally, I don't think we're in a position where we can afford to bring in someone like Jack Wilshere who could potentially disrupt our style of play. We've got to be getting every single point on the board at the moment in the Premier League. We've got to be getting past Reading. It'd be good to see Jack Wilshere maybe get 10 or 20 minutes in the game if we've got a comfortable lead, but I wouldn't want to risk him starting in this game. I think we've got a very good team on paper that has put in very resilient performances recently. Could potentially, I mean, people have been saying that we could rotate the squad in this game. Would you like to see Welbeck start? Would you like to see Walcott start? I think that's something that certainly could be put in the comments box below, so leave your thoughts on that in the comments. But personally, I would definitely keep it with the squad that's been playing recently against the likes of Burnley and Liverpool. It seems to be working so well for us. The chemistry within the side is absolutely superb, and it should be enough to get us through this semi-final against Reading at Wembley Stadium. But anyway, guys, those have been my thoughts on this Saturday's game at 5:20 Wembley Stadium against Reading in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. I'm going for a 3-0 win to Arsenal. I'm fairly confident that we'll get through this one with a comprehensive victory. Leave your score predictions and your thoughts on the game in the comments box below. Subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV. Do check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game, and I'll speak to you very soon, guys.
Hi, welcome along to Arsenal Fan TV, and this is a brand new show. This is the Match Predictor show in conjunction with Sport Lobster. And what we're going to do every week, we're going to take a look at the games and predict the scores. Now, I'm going to look at all of the games